Welcome to today's class. We're going to start seated today, so grab anything you need to get comfy in a seated position. I'm going to sit up on a little meditation cushion today. I'm even going to put a little blanket underneath my feet or my ankles. So go ahead and get comfy. You could even come up to a chair if you prefer. Your legs could be straight. Just find your way. Getting comfortable here, maybe closing your eyes when you arrive, or maybe slowly scanning around the room, just reassuring your nervous system that everything's clear, everything's safe around you. Just a reminder, even if we logically know, sometimes our nervous system can falsely identify not knowing what's around us as a danger. So just reassuring with looking around. And then eventually closing your eyes if that's something you like. Sitting up nice and tall. Reaching upward through the crown of your head. Taking about a half tuck of your chin. So it won't look like you're tucking your chin. You're just more so lengthening the back of your neck. This is our chin lock. For me, doing a chin lock here, it just like makes the rest of my torso feel kind of buoyant or like airy in a nice way. It feels like I can sit up taller. If it's helpful to you, you might bring a hand or two to the belly or the chest, just to get some feedback as you breathe. Drawing the air down to the lowest parts of your lungs. We're letting the belly really expand with the inhales and soften with the exhales. You might bring your hands to your low rib cage and just see as you breathe in how the rib cage widens as the belly expands. And let your hands just rest wherever they'd like. If you'd like to set a dedication or intention for your practice today, feel free to bring something to mind right now. It can be helpful to stick with the same intention or phrase for a chunk of time. Sometimes people choose an intention or focus for the year or the month. So if choosing an intention sometimes doesn't come easily for you, just something to consider. Maybe there's a word of the month you could establish, or a virtue you'd like to embody, or a family member you'd like to hold dear in each class. Three more belly breaths. And then we'll take 3 clearing breaths. With your inhale, breathe all the way in, possibly lifting your shoulders up toward your ears. Exhale, side out of the mouth, let your shoulders come back down. 2 more like that. And then find your natural pace of breath again. And then we'll rub the palms of the hands together, creating some friction and heat. If you feel comfortable touching your face today, let's cup the hands over your closed eyes and let some warmth sink in. Blinking your eyes open behind your hands. Go ahead and circle the eyes out a couple times, both directions, or maybe side to side. Some intuitive movement patterns here. Moving your eyes in all directions at some point. And then blinking your eyes to come back to center. Go ahead and lower your hands from your face. Let your chin come down toward the center of your chest. So while the chin is down, let's still keep a nice upright position through the spine. With your next inhale, turning your head all the way up, comfortable amount without letting your head fall back. And exhale, chin comes back down toward the center of your chest. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, head goes high. Exhale, right back down. Go ahead and do that about one more time. Coming back to neutral, switch the cross of your legs if your legs are crossed. And then with an inhale, let's look to the left. So just moving your head, shoulders stay steady. Exhale to the right. Inhale, spend your entire inhale going to the left. Entire exhale moving to the right. And about two more times. Taking note of anything interesting along the way. And then go ahead and come to center. Let your right ear lean toward the right shoulder. We'll just pause there today. You're welcome to swirl your left hand, your left arm around a little bit, finding some different sensations there all the way up through the left side of the neck, or just hold steady. Eventually bringing your head on up to center, and then let your left ear head on over toward the left shoulder, pausing there, and or swirling that right arm and hand around. I like to imagine like checking the temperature of the bath water or something like that. And when you're ready, coming back up to center, we're going to do a little bit of a tricky one here. I'm going to come a little closer to the camera so you can see. We're going to try, if you've ever done any belly dancing before, they have a movement where you like move your head to one side and then the other side to side. You can even like kind of hold your head and see if that helps you at first. Sometimes it's kind of hard, but the shoulders will stay still. I'm just going to move to one side and the other. One side and the other. Just a couple of times. And then you can kind of shake out the shoulders, come back to neutral. Straightening out the legs. If you're sitting up high on something, you might want to come down a little lower. I'm going to come off of this meditation cushion. Move that to the side for now. So feet are coming out wide here. Let's take a nice twist to the left. So the left hand sweeps behind you, finding the floor. Right hand coming over toward the right or the left knee. Sitting up nice and tall here. Maybe this is enough. Maybe just sitting up tall gets you where you want to be. If not, with an exhale, slowly twisting just a little more to the left, gazing toward that left shoulder. Each inhale has you sitting up tall, resetting. And exhaling, possibly twisting a little more to the left. And then keeping hold of your left knee, start to lift up the right arm. Breath in. And exhale, side bending toward the right. So we're just kind of hanging onto the knee. It helps us to spin the chest upward slightly. Left arm's kind of creating this rainbow-like arch toward the right toes. With an inhale, let's start to come back up. And then we'll switch sides. That left hand finds the right knee this time. Right hand helping you to sit up nice and tall, puffing up the chest with your inhale. And exhale, gazing over that right shoulder. Inhaling to lengthen and reset a little bit. Exhale, twist. One last time, inhale. And exhale, twist. Coming out of your twist slightly, we're still gonna keep hold of that right knee. This time the right hand reaches up and over and side bending toward the left. Inhale and exhale and feel this nice stretch through the right side. Remember, it's not about going as deep and as far as you can go. It's about finding a nice sustainable way to be with it how you can. So maybe coming in and out of the pose a little bit or adding your own flair. When you're ready, just coming back up, lowering the hands down, shaking it out a little bit. And let's head to hands and knees for cat and cow. Taking some time, get there. I'm really feeling like straightening my legs out. So if you want to detour it with me, maybe straightening out one leg first, bringing your toes to the floor, just kind of moving forward and back as you loosen up the right calf. Maybe you lift that right foot up and circle the right ankle a couple times both ways. And eventually switch sides, bringing, well, the right leg if you're on the same side as me. So left leg straightens behind this time, toes finding the floor, and a little bit of rocking movement here to loosen up the left calf, the left foot. Feeling a nice stretch through the bottom of my foot and even kind of my toes. At some point, maybe lifting up the left foot and circling your ankle both ways. And then coming back to tabletop. With an inhale, let's find cow pose. Lower the belly, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone. Exhale, cat, rounding up through your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, letting your head hang kind of loose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Keep flowing with your breath here, inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat. We'll meet up in extended child's pose, knees coming out wide toward the edges of your mat, big toes touching behind you. Maybe you rock a little bit here, forward and back. If the knees don't quite want to settle yet, that's okay. You could stay upright a little more or come down to forearms. And the classic hands reaching forward, head and heart down toward, lowering down toward the mat. Make it your own. Settling in somewhere that feels nice to you, no matter what it looks like. Make sure there's plenty of space for some nice deep belly breaths here, widening the knees a little bit if your body would like more space. One or two more breaths here. With an inhale, start to rise up to tabletop, grabbing blocks. We'll find our way to downward dog. Take your time. Blocks up near the top of your mat if you like to use those. Curling your toes under, starting to lift your knees, lifting the tailbone high. Find your breath here first and foremost. And if you'd like movement, maybe pedaling out your legs, bending and straightening opposite knees. We're pressing the hands into the floor or blocks so much that the shoulders are reaching, the biceps and the deltoids are closer to the ears. Gaze, we're finding that little chin lock again. So half tuck of the chin. So for me, I'm like looking at my knees. Find your sweet spot, of course. One more breath in and breath out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat. Exhale, travel to the top. Keep breathing as you explore ragdoll forward fold. Feet could stay as is or maybe widen out a little bit. Possibly swaying, maybe some stillness. You could nod your head yes and shake your head no. And bending your knees nice and deep, tucking your chin toward your chest. Let's rise up, bringing the hands up the legs for support. When you get to the top, let's find some kind of open position, kind of like a 5-pointed star with the arms out wide, but a little back bend maybe, something that feels like big and open to you. And from there, take it in your own direction. We're just going to find a little bit of intuitive movement or shaking. So maybe some heel drops, lifting and lowering your heels, maybe swinging the arms or shaking a little bit. Shaking is such a good energetic release. You can kind of imagine like you're a wet dog and you're kind of shaking off the gunk of the day. Making sure everything's alive, blood is flowing. All right. When you're ready to move on, coming up to the top edge of your mat. With an inhale, let's sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, open arm twist toward the right. Left arm reaching forward, right arm reaching back. Inhale, come back to center, both arms lift. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. Left arm back, right arm forward. Let's do that a couple times. Inhale, arm back to center, upward salute. Exhale, open arm twist to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, open arm twist to the left. Inhale, back up to the center. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step just the right foot back and lower the right knee down to the mat. With an inhale, sweeping the arms up and overhead, we'll just hang out here for a moment. Check in with your low back here. Tuck your tailbone under, or at least engage your low abdominals there, just so you feel like a little more stable through the core. Breathing strong. One more breath in. And breath out. Bring your hands to your blocks if you're using them. I like to have them on the highest setting for this part. Let's tuck the right toes under and then straighten both of your legs at the same time. So we kind of end up in like a pyramid-like pose. And you can kind of go back and forth a couple times if you like, bending, bringing that right knee back down to the floor, or in this case, I'm going to bring a little blanket under the knee and then straightening both legs. Maybe a couple of times if you wish. All right. It's kind of like a double calf stretch. Coming back to the ground here, maybe bringing your blocks onto the lower setting, curling your right toes under, pick up your right knee, and then step your left foot back, three-legged down dog, left foot lifting. Exhale here. One more breath in. Exhale, shifting forward to your high plank, lowering your foot, your knees, and your chest. Getting in place for 3 rounds of our baby cobra today, pressing the tops of your feet down into the mat. Inhale, lifting your head and heart, hugging your shoulder blades together behind you, letting them slide back and down. And exhale, lower. Inhale, baby cobra, option to tent the fingertips or lift your hands up off of the floor. And exhale, lower. One more time, your style. Inhaling as you rise. And exhaling as you lower. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Big breath in and out. One more breath in. One more breath out. Inhale, rise up, tabletop. Exhale, downward dog. Breathing in, find length. Breathing out, feel the groundedness through the feet and hands. One last breath in and out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat, but with your exhale, walk your hands to the back of your mat so you end up in a forward fold at the back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bending your knees a little deeper. Inhale, rise all the way up, joining your hands overhead. And exhale, bring hands to heart center, finding your chin lock, halfway tucking the chin. Feeling your heart beating, all the signs of life you can tell are happening in your body. Relaxing what needs relaxing or engaging anywhere that might need to be engaged for your safety or uprightness. Is that a word? Remembering your intention. Let's take a clearing breath into the nose. Sigh to release. Opening your eyes if they were closed. Let's come to the wall. If you have a wall or a chair close by, just something you can kind of hold on to. We're gonna step just like a hand, an arm distance apart. You can choose where that goes. I'm just gonna start to press into the left foot. And we're gonna swing that right leg a little bit forward and back. Take a look behind you. Make sure your foot's not gonna hit something. We're just gonna let our bodies kind of swing, the leg swing like this. So you're not really using a lot of muscle and effort here. It's more like a momentum thing so far. Feeling that right hip hopefully kind of loosening up, getting kind of a boost from gravity here. And whenever that feels complete, just coming back down, maybe taking some big circles, circling your knee up, around, back, the other way a couple of times too. And then take a moment, we'll switch sides. And we'll just swing out that left hip, that left leg. Anytime you feel like taking some of those big hip circles, you can. Surprisingly challenging. And then when you've had enough, just step both feet down, give anything a little shake or wiggle that needs it. We're at the back of the mat here. And we'll come on up to our tippy toes. Let's do it a couple times. So we'll rise up to the tippy toes and lower the heels back down. Inhale, rise, tippy toes, and exhale, lower. One more time, inhale to rise, and exhale, lower. All right, we're gonna walk to the front of the mat up on our tippy toes or on the heels. So either you're kind of leaning back and seeing if you can keep your balance on your heels or coming up to your tippy toes. And just taking like some tiny little steps to get to the top. You can do it a couple times if you'd like, maybe trying once on the tippy toes, maybe once on the heels. Ooh, I'm getting fancy, going backwards. Just make sure it feels safe and hold on to something for support anytime you might need it. And it might feel a little silly, but it's always good to be doing novel things, unexpected things. Our brains really love that. So you've had enough. Come on up to the top of your mat. And we'll go ahead and do that sequence on the other side. Just take a look at your feet. Make sure you're feeling steady through the feet. Inhale, reach hands high, upward salute. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, tucking the chin. And exhale, step just the left foot back, lowering your left knee right away. Inhale, reach the hands high. We're gonna stay here for a couple of breaths. So checking in with your low back and the tilt of your pelvis. We want to try to find that neutral and engaged core and pelvis here. I have a tendency to kind of like dump forward into this, so I really have to tuck the tailbone. So feel your strength, feel your shoulders. We're reaching. One more breath in and breath out. Lower your hands to your blocks or the floor. Curl your left toes under, pick up your left knee, and then step your right foot back to a three-legged down dog, right toes lifting behind you. Big breath in and out. One last breath in and exhale, shift forward, high plank, lowering your foot, your knees, and eventually your chest. Setting up for 3 more rounds of baby cobra your way. Inhale, lifting your head and heart, maybe lifting your hands or tenting the fingertips. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. One last time, inhale to rise. And exhale to lower. Inhale, press your way up, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Taking a couple of breaths, sending air to the low back, to the sacrum, length through the spine. Inhale, rise up, tabletop, grabbing your blocks if you want, and eventually using an exhale to downward dog. Big breath in and out. One more nice big breath in and out. Inhale, bend your knees, look up toward the top of your mat. Exhale, walk your hands to the back of the mat. Forward fold at the back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press all the way up, reaching your hands together overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a few moments creating or finding a sense of balance in your body and mind. And if that's hard to feel right now, we can kind of take the route of imagining what it could feel like. What would it possibly look like or feel like to feel balanced in your mind and body? And let's take a clearing breath in through the nose and a sigh to release. All right, blinking your eyes open. We're gonna get ready for some marching twists here. So if you have anything on your mat, you might want to move that aside, clear the runway. Maybe get close to a wall or some chairs for support. So let's shift all the weight over to the right foot as we start to find one-legged mountain pose with the left knee lifting. Make sure your shoulders are back in place, maybe circling them up, back and down. Breath in. With your exhale, open that left knee out toward the left side, keeping the rest of your body somewhat still. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twisting your upper body toward the left, nice and slow, just the upper body twisting. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, straighten your left leg, touch your left heel down, take a nice little step forward, shifting all of the weight to your left foot. Inhale, one-legged mountain pose with your right knee lifting. Toes could always stay connected to the floor. Exhale, right knee opens out toward the right side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, straighten your right leg, step your right heel down, slowly shift to the right foot. We're gonna do that one more time on, oops, we forgot to do our, we'll add it on this time around. With an inhale, left knee lifts, one-legged mountain pose. Exhale, open that left knee out toward the side. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist the upper body toward the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, step that left heel down, shifting weight to the left foot, finding your breath. And inhale, right knee lifts. Exhale, open the right knee out toward the right side. Inhale, back to center. This time we're twisting. Exhale, twist the upper body to the right. Let's stay here for an extra breath in and an extra breath out. With an inhale, let's prepare. Come back to center and exhale. Step the right foot down. Take any more steps to get to the top of the mat. Shaking it out a little bit anytime you want. Let's go ahead and come down to the floor. We're gonna take a little restorative pose here from the stomach. So this will be half frog pose. If you're on a hard surface, feels really nice to have a blanket. Let's start on the left side. So I'm gonna put a blanket out on the left side of my mat. That'll be where my knee and calf goes. If you want, you could put down some more blankets just underneath you for support. Maybe grab a pillow you might use in a little bit. So I'll show you where we're headed. We're gonna lay down flat on the stomach. You can kind of prop your head up, maybe stacking your forearms and resting your head on top or turning your head to either side. Let's bend the left knee, bringing it off to the left side here. So your shin is kind of parallel to the edge of your mat. So basically the left hip is out to the side like we were doing in our balancing sequence today. Go ahead and just keep experimenting with your other props or your other materials here. I'm making a little pillow underneath my head and turning my gaze toward the left. And you can always add a little more cushion anywhere. If you're on a really hard surface, like the right hip bone kind of can get kind of pressed into the floor. So just getting cozy. We're going to be here for a little while. Bringing your awareness down to the left hip joint. Doing some internal investigation here around this joint. Just notice any sensations around the left hip joint. Maybe you can imagine your muscles getting more and more relaxed. Maybe with each exhale, you can feel your body just getting comfier and comfier. See if you can become responsible for the flow of your breath, creating your ideal kind of breathing style today. And that can be whatever you choose. Maybe it's nice long breaths. Maybe it's better to just not think about it. Trying any other techniques to help your body and your nervous system and your mind have a little break. Checking in with your right leg. Is there any holding or gripping that's unnecessary here? Is there any way your shoulders or your head can feel more supported, more trusting in their ability to soften? Taking about 3 more big, slow breaths. And then we'll start to straighten out that left leg. We're going to flip upward. So flipping on over so that your stomach flips up towards the sky. We're switching sides this way. So just consider it kind of a novel experiment. We're taking one blanket with us and eventually coming on over to the other side. My microphone is just out of control right now. Okay, eventually we're bringing that right knee out toward the right side now, shin more or less parallel to the side of your mat, and getting your upper body in position as well. I'm gonna try crocodile pose through the top part of me, top half of me today. So stacking, I've got a nice blanket here underneath my forehead. You could turn your gaze in either direction or turn your head. It doesn't have to look like the same Doesn't have to look the same like you did on the first side. But when you do find comfort, start to investigate that right hip joint. Letting your awareness expand from there. Just letting all of your big muscle groups of your body just know for now, you're off duty. You can rest. You're always welcome to change positions or edit your position anytime, maybe bending your right knee a little bit more or sliding your leg down, creating a little less bend. Checking in with your shoulders and your head, your jaw. Get comfier and comfier. Taking about 5 more breaths. And if you'd like, you could start to straighten that right leg out, resting in crocodile pose. Option to stay here in crocodile pose with both legs straightened and your head resting on top of your hands or a pillow. You can stay there and take your final rest as you are, or go ahead and make your way to your back or a seat for your final rest. If there are any other little poses, movements, or stretches that your body wants before settling in, feel free. Maybe hugging your knees in toward your chest and rolling out the sacrum and low back with some movement through the legs. Maybe a happy baby. Keep on keeping on until you're ready to rest. Getting any other props you might need today. Since I have it, I kind of like putting a blanket just like right over my midsection or like kind of like the pelvis. It just feels really stable for me. Do whatever you'd like with your arms and your legs, maybe extending them, taking up as much space as you'd like. If that feels at all uncomfortable, another good option is constructive rest pose, bending your knees and standing your feet up at the edges of your mat and allowing them to rest together at the center. Ooh, that feels extra good after doing some hip opening. This is like an internal rotation in constructive rest pose. whereas we were doing a nice external rotation in our half frog. That feels just so relieving right now. Seeing if you can catch your awareness, catch your attention, and keep it interested. Keep being interested in the flow of your breath. Really practicing having that beginner's mind, as if you've never taken a breath before, just intrigued and interested, curious, sensitive and aware to the subtleties. A state of kind of awe or joyfulness sometimes can happen as you just feel that interest and involvement with every breath. If a smile wants to appear on your face, don't stop it. Sometimes it can feel relaxing to smile. Brand new breath every time. Is there something new to discover? Finishing up a last round or two or breath. And know that you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like, just continuing your rest. You can ignore the rest of this class. Eventually, when you are ready to reawaken, starting with some small movements, fingers and toes, maybe opening and closing your jaw, swallowing or yawning. Ooh. Maybe heading into a long body stretch or more circling of joints. Eventually turning on to either side, finding the fetal position for a breath or two. And then pressing your way up to a comfortable seat. Let's bring hands to heart center. Finding that little chin lock. Om Bolo Shri Satguru Bhagavan Ki Jai. Greatest teacher of them all lies within you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace in our actions, peace in our words, peace in our thoughts. Bringing thumbs up to third eye center. Let's take a little bow forward together now to seal in our class. Peace.